Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn. Here's a quick look at the card I'll be making today. It's definitely one of those cards where I think it'll help to understand my instructions if you can actually see where we're headed. This is called an interlocking accordion fun fold card, and it displays beautifully, and it's a lot easier to make than you might expect. There are a lot of pieces though, so don't worry. I'm gonna tell you all of the dimensions and the scoring, but I'll also have a freeze frame later and you can take a screen grab also. So this piece measures 8.5 wide by 5.5 tall, and I'm gonna score it at 4 inches and 8 inches. That piece was 4 by 5.5, no scoring. The third piece was 4.5 by 5.5, scored at 1/2 inch. This piece is 8 by 3.25, scored at 2.5 and 5. And then my next pink piece will measure 8.5 by 3.25, and that one gets scored at 1/2 inch, 3.5, and 6 inches. And again, don't worry, I'll give you all of those measurements again, and I'll have a freeze frame so you can actually see all of the pieces and how they all line up. These pieces all need to get folded in that zigzag pattern, that accordion pattern, so a valley fold followed by a mountain fold followed by a valley fold. And our two pink pieces will get connected together, and the two or the three white pieces will get connected together. Where you see those 1/2 inch sections, those are glue tabs. So all I'm doing is I'm mitering or taking a little bit of a triangle, cutting from the score line out to the edge, and that way when I go to attach all of these pieces, if it's not 100% perfectly lined up, it's not going to be quite as visible. And so I'm going to line these up in the order or the placement that you would want them in order to connect all of the pieces correctly. So here they all are, and the screen grab moment is coming up now. 4.5 wide by 5.5 tall, you want to score that piece at 4 inches. The middle white section is 8.5 wide by 5.5 tall, score that at 4 and 8 inches. The final white piece is 4 wide by 5.5 tall, no scoring. The first pink piece is 8 wide by 3.25 tall, score at 2.5 and 5. And the last pink piece is 8.5 wide by 3.25 tall, score at 1/2 inch, 3.5, and 6 inches. Those are the pieces that will make up our card base. And that is the order that they get attached in. Before I start connecting these pieces, I want to die cut an aperture through that middle white section. I've folded it on that 4-inch line, and I'm going to die cut a rectangular frame through both layers. By die cutting through both layers at the same time, it's all lined up for you, and even if the die doesn't make it 100% through that second layer, it will at least deboss a line so that you can line up your die again and run it through your die cutting machine to cut it the rest of the way through. So at the with the white layers, you'll have a solid white panel followed by 2 panels that have an aperture cut through them, and then followed by another solid panel. Folded, this card will measure 4 inches wide by 5.5 tall, so slightly more narrow than your standard A2. To connect them, we're just going to use those 1/2 inch glue tabs, and you can use any adhesive you'd like. What I am using is a double-sided adhesive tape, and to the right of this frame, I'm going to attach the panel that measures 4 wide by 5.5 tall. That's the panel that doesn't have a glue tab or any scoring on it. So go ahead and line that up to the right using the glue tab that came from the middle section. Then with the panel that measures 4.5 wide by 5.5 tall, we have a 1/2 inch glue tab that's going to be on the right, and we'll use that 1/2 inch glue tab to connect it to the middle section. And so you do want to make sure that you have that accordion fold with these panels. So you have valley fold, valley fold, mountain fold, and that way it can all fold down nicely into that 4 wide by 5.5 tall card. My papers don't 100% measure 11 by 8.5. It's actually a little bit longer than 11 inches. So if you need to trim off a little bit just to make everything line up perfectly, you can definitely do that. Now, to get the matte layer on these frames, we're looking at the back here. My pattern paper measures 3 3/4 wide by 5.25 tall, and I'm centering it on the back of the panel that I want to put this matte layer on top of. Now flipping to the front, I'm going to take the same die that I used to cut the aperture window, and I'm just going to nestle that right back in. You can wiggle it around to make sure it doesn't move. That way you know it's lined up. And then just run this whole thing through your die cutting machine, and it will cut through your pattern paper, leaving a perfectly positioned frame that you can then decorate that panel with. And I've done that a second time as well. Now it's a good time to mention that my video today is part of the Not Too Shabby Shop Box of the Month giveaway hop. To find all the videos in this hop, just click on the hashtag N2S Comfy and Cozy. If for some reason though that doesn't bring up all the videos in this hop, just expand the description box below and you'll see direct links to all of the videos in this hop. It is a giveaway hop, so also in the description box is a link to the Rafflecopter giveaway form. Just click on over to that form, enter your details, and you'll be in for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Not Too Shabby Shop. Don't forget to leave some love on all of the videos along this hop. Now, for the 2 pink layers, we need to connect them as well. And you want to make sure, though, that they mirror each other because all of the sections are not the same width. So that's why I've lined it up this way. And then I'm going to fold that 1/2 inch glue tab over to make sure that it connects the 2 pieces. The 2 outer panels on this white layer measure 2.5 wide by 3.25 tall, and then the 2 center panels right in the middle there, they actually measure 3 inches wide by 3.25 tall. And so now you can choose whatever papers you'd like. I'm using one of the paper pads from the Not Too Shabby Shop September Box of the Month. In the Box of the Month, we always get 2 full 6x6 paper pads, and they each also have matching ephemera packs to go with them. So I'll pull those out later and decorate my card with the ephemera. You can also feel free to cut down your mats and layers however you'd like. Just depends on how much of the pink panel you want to see. You can line all of the panels with pattern paper if you'd like. I was just trying to conserve because these papers are so beautiful. And with this particular paper pad, there's actually 12 unique designs and you only get 2 sheets of each. So I was trying really hard to kind of save my most favorite papers. It's a bad habit I have, I know, but it's so hard sometimes to cut into papers that are gorgeous like these. And one thing that I really liked is that it does come with papers that are solid, which is kind of nice because I couldn't find an exact match to the blue that's in the pattern papers that I used for the 2 end pieces here. So I was really happy to find that the paper pad actually has a nice solid blue. So it worked out so beautifully. The front of my card, I'm gonna leave pretty simple. It's gonna look like a book actually because I kind of like the idea of this looking like a book considering the paper pad is coffee and books. So I thought it would be really cute to just keep it nice and simple, especially since this card displays beautifully. So I think most of the time it's going to be put on display open. Now to attach that pink strip, what I'm doing is lining up I folded that pink strip all the way down, and I've lined this up so that it will fit 100% through the aperture, so that when this folds down, everything is going to fit, and you'll be able to still glue that pink panel right here. I'm putting adhesive on just that last panel, and then I can close my card shut and attach that. So I want to make sure that everything will fold down flat, and it's going to be pretty thick, so it still might trigger some extra postage, but you still want to make sure that it folds down flat, especially if you do plan to put it in the mail. And then comes the fun part of just decorating. So I've picked out my ephemera pieces. Some of these sections I've collaged up a couple different ephemera pieces, and then on other panels I've just used some of the bigger ephemera pieces. So I really love that we get a nice assortment of ephemera, and sometimes you get them the same image but at different scales, so that's kind of nice as well. It kind of helps you pick the right scale image for your project. And here is a final look at our finished interlocking accordion fun fold card. There's so much space here to decorate. You could leave some of these panels blank if you wanted to leave some space to actually write a message, so that might be another option as well. You could always just write or sign your card on the back panel as well. That way, when this is put on display, if you have a personal message, it's not going to always be visible. That's my card for today. Don't forget to click on hashtag N2SComfyandCozy to find all of the other videos on this hop. We would all love if you liked our videos, left a comment, and if you like our video, also hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye!